B-boy, from the old to the new, still a B-boy. Too bold for the school, still a B-boy. East coast to the west, B-boys worldwide, we supposed to be blessed. Still a B-boy, from the old to the new.
This week, we're going across the pond to England, but don't front. Europe has just as much love for the culture, maybe even more, than some here in the US. Always love to talk hip hop from someone from another country. Not only does he have a deep love for the culture, he's an amazing MC as well. Ladies and gentlemen, Ashley I. What's up?
Yo, what's going on, brother, man? Thank you so much for having me here, man.
Yeah,
God
no
bless
doubt.
you, man.
So do you remember the first time you heard hip hop?
Okay, the first, I don't actually remember it, but the first, okay, I'll say it two ways. The first, I remember when I first heard it, the first time I remember was around about 2 or 3. I was into crisscross, crisscross, jump.
Yeah.
That was like the first hip hop because I already knew that I was into like on my own. But before, like when I was just born, like my auntie used to say to me that I used to always sing before I could even speak. I used to sing like Vanilla Ice, Ice Baby. I used to sing it when I was like just born. When that came out, I was just born. So when I was a baby, I was already singing it. And then by the time I was 2 or 3 years old, I was in the crisscross and like Skilo and people like that. Yeah. And that's when I first got into hip hop. That's like my first memories of it was crisscross and like Skilo and Vanilla Ice, MC Hammer.
Yeah, I was in high school.
And Snoop Dogg. Yeah.
I was in high school when Crisscross Jump came out, and I won't even front. I wore a couple jerseys backwards, I was all on.
Oh man, I thought they were so cool because I was like a little child. So
yeah.
I was in front of all I had to do when I was like 2 or 3. I used to watch wrestling and hip hop. That was it. Wrestling and hip hop, WWF and like hip hop. And I know it just, it's who I am. I mean, even when I was a baby, I was already singing it. I was born into it, Hip hop's not really a thing to me. It's like, it's just how I am as a person, you know what I mean?
Right.
So, and Snoop Dogg, I think 1993, there's a guy called Snow. He had a song called Informer.
Yep.
Informer.
Yep.
I don't know if that's hip hop but that's like one of the first hip hop songs I kind of knew. Right. And then my sister at the time, and she told me that Snoop Dogg apparently killed him. So that was my first like introduction to Snoop Dogg, is that he's a really bad guy and he killed Snow. Obviously, it wasn't true. She was like 6 years old at the time. Yeah. But that's when I first heard Snoop Dogg. So I've known Snoop since I was like 3 years old. I always liked Snoop. Like at that time, Snoop was like my favorite rapper. When I was 3, Snoop Dogg was my favorite rapper. He was like the coolest at the time. But hip hop's just part of who I am as a person,
So as you start getting a little bit older as a child, you're getting into hip hop. Who were your, you just named a few names, but let's say teenage years, who were your favorite handful of MCs?
Oh, definitely. Yeah. So when I got into because I started actually rhyming when I was 12 years old. That's when I started actually getting into the rhyme. Before that, people were trying to get me into it. But my sister, when I was like 11 years old, she wanted to get me into into rapping and stuff. But I was more into soccer. You guys call it soccer. We call it football. I was into football at the time. That's my main first art, my first passion. But my main influence at the time was Tupac. He's the reason why I started rapping in the first place. Tupac, I was a Tupac rider, as they call it. I was like the biggest Tupac fan you would meet. Like Tupac was my guy because he kind of related to me because he was like kind of like me in a sense where I like to express myself. I don't really see myself as like a rapper or anything. I'm just someone that's expressed themselves, and through hip hop was like an art form that really spoke to me, that allowed me to be who I am and the person who I really am, and how I can express myself the way I want to do it. So it was Tupac. But when I was a really young kid, it was Mace. Mason, when I was like 7 or 8, Mason was my favorite rapper. Mace, he's my favorite. He's my favorite. Like, I love Mace. So it was Mace. It was Tupac. I like Biggie. Biggie was really good. 50 Cent was like a massive influence on me due to he had like a style, because 50 knew how to make songs. So when I was about 13, I wanted to start taking rap seriously. I wanted to be a rapper. And back then in the UK, there was no rap scene over here. Everyone was doing a thing called, it's called grime now. Have you never heard grime music before? It's like big you might have heard it, but in the UK, it's a scene called grime music. It's pretty big right now. But back then, it was only just starting. It was called garage music, which is more like a fast tempo kind of stuff. It's not really hip hop. They try and say it's hip hop, but it's not really hip hop. It's got influence from hip hop, like rhyming patterns and talking about certain topics that relate to hip hop. But it's more like a different genre that's related to a genre called jungle. So the different genres over here is more like a dubstep, techno kind of fusion, grams, all that kind of stuff, but with really street lyrics to it. But I never really did that because I wanted to express myself. So back along on the topic, but my influence really were just more American artists, but also UK artists. There's guys called SAS. They were signed to Dipset back in the day. I was really into them because they were from the UK, and they were rhyming just as good as Americans were, and so I was into those guys. I like the guy called Sway. He's a UK artist called Sway. He actually inspired me to be an independent artist, because back in like the early 2000s, there was no UK scene. It was only American hip hop we had over here. Like 50 Cent, which is really getting big out here. The Game, stuff like that. You know, Jay-Z. Jay-Z wasn't even big over here back then. It was more like 50 Cent, DMX. Those kind of guys are really big over here. You know, like NWA. You know, the traditional kind of hip hop guys over in America. But for me, it was really just those guys: 50 Cent, G Unit, SAS, Sway. You know, who else I like? Tupac. It really was Tupac. He was my guy. He was my guy.
So when did you really start putting songs together and putting them out there, even if it's just you know, letting your friends hear it, or you know, when you took that next step from just doing it yourself to letting other people hear it?
Right, that's a beautiful question. For me, it was around about 13, 14. That was the first time I ever went into, like, we didn't even have a studio back then. My friend at the time, he goes, because I was rhyming at 12, and then at 13 I wanted to take this rap thing seriously. But obviously over here in the UK, there was no scene, so everyone thought I was just a crazy little kid. Like, you ain't gonna be a rapper like that. That's an American thing. Everyone would say, "Ah, man, rap. That's an American thing, man. Stay playing football. Stay playing your football, man." But I knew I wasn't good enough to play football professionally. I just wasn't good enough. I know my abilities, and I just felt like with this hip hop thing, I knew I had something that was different. Even though I was so young, when I wrote my first ever rap lyrics, I think I was 12. My first lyrics were, my flow's like a lethal weapon, shooting bullets every second. Do you reckon I will make it in this game? When you gotta talk about hoes, giving your brain, all these fake MCs, man, they sound the same. I was 12 years old when I wrote that. But when I said my flow's like a lethal weapon, shooting bullets every second, like I couldn't believe I said that at 12 years old. So from that day, I was like, I couldn't believe I said that at 12. I wrote that myself, so I knew I had something different. And then around about 14, my friend said, come around my house. He had a little computer mic. He had like Kazaa and stuff like that, so he could get all the beats. And we started making mixtapes from 14. I still got the CDs in my house, and we started rhyming over beats. And that's when I first started making songs. But I started out as a battle rapper first. So when I was like 12, 8 Mile just come out, and all I wanted to do, I'm a freestyler by nature. That's how I started rhyming. I started writing poems when I was 7 years old, 8 years old. And then from around about 12, I started just freestyling because of the dome. That's how I like to do it. I was freestyling. And then from there, I just started making songs at 14. I wanted to make songs, mainly because Tupac, you know, he was my inspiration at the time. 50 Cent as well, you know, they were my inspiration at the time because 50 and Nate Dogg, they really do have to make very catchy songs with strong melody. And I'm a very melodic guy. Like, before I even rhymed, I was trying to do melodies. But everyone back then is a lot think, what are you doing? Because it wasn't cool to do melodies when I was doing melodies back in like 2003, 2004. I was like a little kid, but I was doing melodies. Everyone back then was just street rapping, street. And when I was doing it back then, it was all about, you had to be nice. You couldn't just get on the mic. You had to be next level. If it was sports, if it was rhyming, like back in the day, we used to do 100 bars, 200 bars, because that's what it was back then. It's about being 100 bars, but every bar had to be fire. And if you're gonna make a song, the chorus has to be fire. So I came up in an era where you had to be the best. You couldn't just rhyme, and especially if you're from the UK, you're already at a disadvantage because you're from the UK. You weren't taken seriously by our American counterparts. So I just knew I could rap just as good as people from America. I knew it from when I was a child, because even when I used to rhyme, people in America, you kind of understood me. I always had this kind of connection with American people. I don't know, maybe because I just grew up watching it on the TV or something. I don't know, but I don't know what it is. But hip hop to me, I just don't think, even though it did start in America, I was living hip hop. Like, I used to break dance when I was 11. My people around here used to be a graffiti crew. BU unit, that was the biggest graffiti crew. They were like a gang, but they were a gang, but they were a graffiti crew that were a gang. So, and I used to rhyme. So we grew up hip hop over here. It wasn't like we were trying to be it. It's just how we live. It's just who we are as people. It doesn't matter if hip hop's not about where you're from, it's where you're at. You know, it's just what it is. You know what I mean? Right. So for me, 14 years old when I started putting tracks together and recording on a computer mic, and at 15 was the first time I went to a studio, and I made a diss track, and that was the first time I ever went into a studio. I had like a big battle out here, a really big battle. It actually put me on in my neighborhood at the time, and that was the first time I went to a studio. So yeah, 14 to 15.
I love when, you know, I was lucky enough that, you know, I was born in the 1970s, so I was kind of seeing hip hop develop in real time. You know, when Run DMC came out, I was watching in real time. But I love when people who weren't alive in that era go back and learn about the forefathers of hip hop. That says a lot. And that says a lot that you can drop names like Cool Herc, because a lot of people your age don't even know who Cool Herc is,
You know,
which is sad to me because, you know, I got to see it in real time. And if it wasn't for these artists, you wouldn't be having your Nicki Minaj's or whoever is, you know, popular
you
now.
wouldn't have Jay-Z. You wouldn't have Jay-Z.
Right.
And the reason why I show Cool Herc so much love, because I like to know how things work. I like inventors. I like people who are entrepreneurs, people who are creative, people who make things new. So I want to know who made hip hop. So I did my research. I learned about it, and Cool Herc actually liked one of my freestyles on Instagram. He actually liked one of my. He left a comment on one of my freestyles. So I was blown away by that. You know what I mean? I was actually blown away by that. You know, the guy who's one of the guy who supposedly made rap like my freestyle. I just couldn't believe it.
Right.
So, but not just that. It's just the fact that I feel like hip hop should be looking after him, man. You know what I mean? Like if you look at any other culture, they'll take care of the forefathers. You know, even America, the forefathers of America. You know, they're still on the dollar bill. You know what I'm saying? They got statues of these guys, these George Washingtons and all these. You know what I'm saying? But where's Cool Herc? Jay-Z, the man got billions of dollars. Come on, man. They should be looking after, because without him, there'll be no Jay-Z, there'll be no me, there'll be no you, there'll be none of us.
Absolutely.
So, and that's the thing about this hip hop culture. Like we love to scream about culture, but we don't take care of the people that laid the foundation for this culture. Cool Herc should be, every single person in rap should know Cool Herc.
Absolutely.
He should be like, you know what I mean? He should be more known than Tupac. Let's keep it real. Everyone knows Tupac. Everyone knows Tupac, but no one knows Cool Herc. You know what I'm saying? And because as a hip hop community, they haven't done a good job of representing the people that laid the foundation. They don't really care about them. Let's keep it 1,000. Everybody in hip hop is about making money, and that's why on my page I speak about the realities of hip hop, because everybody want to be a rapper, everybody want to be signed, everybody want to be in hip hop, but no one understands that there's hip hop and then there's the record business. There's two sides to it. You know what I mean? I stay with the hip hop side. I don't really get involved in the record business, because the record business is not about hip hop. The record business is about making money for corporations and shareholders. You know, it's a different world, you know?
Why do you think Europe is appreciating this American art form more than the Americans? You might not have the answer, and I don't necessarily have the answer either. But
I think that's a great question. I think because we appreciate it more, because we're more compelled by it, because, you know, we learn it from you guys. You know, we are it's just like, you know, over in America, you guys love foreign cars. You love foreign cars so much. You guys love designer clothes. Everybody's brand Versace, this, Versace, that. These are foreign brands, you know what I mean? Because they're perceived as, you know, you guys are, but to us over here, like, yeah, people like Versace and stuff like that, but it's not really like a big thing over here, you know, wearing like driving big foreign cars. Like in America, you guys love your foreign cars, you love your Versace, your Fendi, all this stuff like that. But over here, it's just like, it's just another brand over here. But hip hop to us, because we learn it from you guys. We don't see it every day. Like, you know what I mean? We don't see it. We're compelled by it, you know, and we don't see it every single day. So we love it. So when we get to be around the people, you know, that actually made it, we want to everything about it. You know what I mean? It's because we're compelled by it. We're compelled by this thing because it speaks to us, but we don't get to see it every day down our street. The version we got is a little bit different. We speak different. We talk different. You know what I mean? We have different slang words. You know what I mean? We have different accents, but you know, even the mindset the same way, but we got it from you guys. You know what I'm saying? You guys are the one that brought it to us. You know what I mean? Without you guys, we want to know about this thing called hip hop. So we respect it. We appreciate it more. Where in America, it's on your front doorstep.
Right. It's everywhere.
It's everywhere, you know what I mean? You walk down the street, walk down your block, you know what I mean? You probably see Cool Herc going in the corner store buying groceries, you know what I mean? Like, so they might not think it's a big thing, you know what I mean? But also in America, I think it's a lot about money as well. You know, Americans love money, you know what I mean? I think, you know, someone like Cool Herc was a billionaire. Everyone knows who he is. You know what I mean? I think a lot of the forefathers didn't make no money. You know what I mean? So because the music industry and hip hop was a new art form, the music business wasn't really didn't really have a great system built in. You know what I mean? There's only radio, and television was still a new outlet to get the records out there. So really, it was just radio. And radio, you only got a certain amount of slots. You know what I mean? Back then, it was all about rock and roll. Rock and roll was the main genre back then, and you know what I mean. So rock and roll more like, you know, disco and stuff like that. But like, you know what I'm saying? But like with hip hop, it was new at the time, and there wasn't a lot of media outlets to get it out there. So I think that has a lot to play with it. But I don't know. I just think like it comes down to money. I think that the forefathers didn't have a lot of money because the game wasn't built at that time. Where in the 90s, that's when the first time rap became a billion-dollar industry, and then you had black-owned record labels or independent record labels owned by, you know, artists from people from the actual scene, not just from some big corporate. You had Suge Knight, you had Dilly, and that's the first time hip hop became a billion-dollar industry. So and had a lot more marketing support behind it. You know what I mean? So I think people, you know, appreciate that more than the early people, because the early times it wasn't promoted to us. A lot of people don't know Sugar Hill Gang because it's not promoted to us over here in the UK. All we know is 90s. You might know a little bit of, we know LL Cool J, probably 80s, about LL Cool J, Run DMC, people like that. You know what I'm saying? That's what's over here. NWA, stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then, but really, it's Tupac and Biggie. That's what made rap big over here. Is Tupac and Biggie, Death Row, Snoop Doggy Dogg. That's what's like. They can't walk down the street here. Those kind of people. They're too famous over here. So whereas LL Cool J might be able to walk, and some people might not recognize him. Maybe not LL. Maybe not LL. Let's say more like Run DMC. If you know what I mean. If Rev Run was walking down the street, people won't probably know who Rev Run is. You know what I mean. But if LL walked down, I'd be like, they might know who LL is. Stuff. So.
Yeah, he's on TV and stuff too. So
he's on. Yeah, and he's famous over here. Like one of my friends' mothers at the time. I was in the car with her. She whipped that LL Cool J. She playing me LL Cool J. You know what I'm saying? Because when she was young, that's what she should listen to.
Yeah.
So I was like, wow. And because LL Cool J, I know he's old school, but to me, he's old school, but he's not old school because he's been around for a very long time, but he's remained relevant through every generation. You know, from like to 83 to about 83 till now. So LL was he's a very unique. You know, he's a very unique breed. LL Cool J.
Why do you think so? There's never been UK or even really a European artist who's hit it big in the US.
Yeah.
And I've heard some amazing MCs from all different countries. Obviously, I'm the American, but I'm not exactly sure if it's an American thing, having not accepting someone else in, or if we just don't get it. You know, why do you think that is, that no one from Europe has really cracked the American market huge? I mean, some have cracked it a little bit, but never, you know, to a high level.
I think that's just due to cultural barriers. You know, it's the accent. In the UK, we speak like, yeah, hello, mate, hello, yeah, Queen Victoria. So in America, like, huh, what, ooh, huh? You know, they're like, like, you know, it's that cultural barrier. You know what I mean? We understand you guys because it just sounds compelling, and the first time we ever heard rap was in your accent. So we like that. But when you but for American, you guys, you know, when you have a guy from London or from France rapping in the UK, especially in this accent, some people just don't. It's just not friendly to the ear. You know, they're not used to hearing that, so you can't really blame them for that. It just takes, you gotta be nice, and you gotta be really nice, and you gotta have a good tone of voice. You gotta have some kind of voice that's going to compel people, and sometimes the UK accent on rap isn't. Not all of them, but some of them just doesn't sound good. I'm being honest. You know what I mean? Even me, I don't listen to that much UK rap. You know what I mean? Because some of it just ain't good. You know what I mean? But if it is good, I'm gonna listen to it. So you just gotta be nice. I think a lot of people that have been, one, there hasn't been a marketing push. Two, it's just there's not a lot of UK rappers, if I'm honest, that can really relate to Americans, because a lot of UK rappers that have gone over to America have gone there on the street, or like street rappers, and they're the only kind of rappers that Americans know. And a lot of Americans ain't gonna take you seriously being from London, being street. They do now because they come over here now. They know street over here now. But back then they didn't know we're street over here. They thought it was all like, you know, sipping tea and eating crumpets. You know what I'm saying? They don't know that. It's not like that. There's hoods everywhere. You know what I mean? But Americans know that now. Obviously now they come over here and they see England's just like America. It's like everywhere. But we haven't had a real MC, you know, it's a real nice MC. And Americans will accept. My biggest fan base is American. All my fans, my top market is America. You know, you just gotta be nice. You gotta be really nice.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
The talent will rise to the top. I mean,
definitely,
no matter where you're from.
No matter where you're from, man.
So one thing that also I like to ask people from other countries is, let's say it's going to be different now because of the internet. But before the internet was big, let's say an album comes out on January 1st in the US. How long does it take you guys to get that album? Obviously it's different now, but before that, will you be getting those the same week they drop in the US, or would it take time to get those albums?
That's a great question, because I grew up in the era of the legal downloading, you know what I mean? So we had that stuff before it came out in the shops, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? You guys that like when they record, I'm you know what I mean, I'm a 90s, you know, kind of kid, you know what I mean? So so I don't really know too much about that, because I like when the time Get Rich or Die Trying came out, I had that on bootleg before it came out in the shops. And like, you know what I mean? But before that, my first time ever buying music, I was about 11 years old. I know, but I can tell you in terms of how the music was marketed and promoted. Like, for example, if Jay-Z would put an album out in America, we would get like 2-3 months later over here.
Okay.
So there used to be a guy called Tim Westwood over here in the UK. Have you ever met Tim Westwood?
Yeah, I've heard of him. Yeah.
You know Tim, right? Yeah. So he, like, back in the day, I used to tune into his radio show because he would play the new American songs before they came out over here in the UK. That's about 2005 times. That's not even that longer. So it'll be like 3-4 months, and then we'll get it over here. But with television, we were up to date with television anyway. You know what I mean? We wasn't too far behind. But I really came up in the Kazaa time, man. So I had it before it came out in the stores, man. You know what I mean?
In England or the UK, you know how in the US, East Coast hip hop sounds different than West Coast hip hop, or sounds different than Southern hip hop. Is it the same way in the UK? Does London have a style, or does Northern UK have a style, or is it?
It's, you know, it's a great question. Not really over here, you know. Like, everyone just raps, and there's like drill music, like they have like there's like drill kind of music, like street kind of sound. There's like that kind of genre, and it's like street rap. There's not really a lot of rap over here. There's just street rap mostly. Most people that rap over here are actual street people. They're just street people that decided to rap. You know what I mean? They're not like in the industry people. They're just people from the streets who just decide to rap. You know what I mean? Because it's something to do. You know what I mean? That's just really what it is over here in the UK, just street people that rap. So it's more just street rap over here. There's not really, and they all mostly have the same kind of styles. Just street rap. They rap on American beats, some rap on drill beats. There's a few, like, there's not that many rappers over here. There's not that many rappers that I know of, you know. It's mostly just street rap over here. There's a few guys that sway back in the day, but those guys don't really get that much promotion. It's only mostly street rap that gets promotion over here. That's why when I was younger, I had a problem getting a fan base, because I'm not a street rapper. So I wasn't really getting no looks because I want street. You know what I mean? So it took me only now, because the internet, I had to make my own way, thanks to God. But back in the day, if you want a street rapper, even to this day now, it's only street rappers that are getting heard, only. And maybe grime rappers, but they're even street. It's all street over here, man. Everyone's just street over here, man. That's what I know. There's not really a lot of MCs that come with different styles. It's just not really like that over here yet, that I know of. Maybe there is, but I've just not heard it, you know?
I was just curious if, you know, Northern England sounds different than Southern England, because in the US it's very distinct. You know, East Coast rapper sounds way different than a California rapper, and so on. Yeah.
Okay. In terms of accent, you're right, because in Birmingham and Manchester, they've got a complete different accent to us. Okay. So in terms of accent, yeah, but not style. Because in America, it's a whole new style. Right. Like the West Coast have got a different type of voice, different type of beats, different type of flow, different type of melody, different type of image, different type of album cover. Everything's just different. You know what I mean? That's why I love hip hop, because it's the uniqueness and the differentiation of each kind of sound. Like look at Snoop. He's different. Snoop and Jay-Z are so different. Same era, same time, but so different. You know what I mean? Even Tupac, different. You know what I mean? And that's what we don't really have in the UK, because it's a small country. It's a very small country, you know. Even though the Queen conquered everywhere, you know what I mean? The UK is still small, and the scene, even though the money's being made now, everyone's making money from music now because of the internet and self distribution. The style is still the street kind of rap that's breaking through really to the mainstream. Yeah.
So I was checking out your bedroom bars videos. I watched them all. I was a huge fan. Wow. The Journey, I think, was my favorite one, but I enjoyed them all. Where did the inspiration for those videos come?
Man, thank you so much. I didn't even know you seen that, man.
Oh, yeah, made my day. I watched them all.
Made my day, because man, inspiration for that. Man, it just came from being in my room. I'm just some poor guy, you know what I mean? I ain't got no big resources. I'm just me and myself and God, that's it. So I was in my room thinking, what can I do to get with my limited resources? What can I do? I had a camera in my room. I got a shoot in my room, and I got a camera in my room. I thought, you know what? I'm just gonna make my own tracks in my room, make my own videos in my room, and make it like a TV show. I want to make my whole thing. What I do, I actually make experiences. So my goal is to make an amazing experience every single time. And with Bedroom Bars, I wanted to try to change the way you kind of like perceive kind of music, where instead of just doing like a typical music video, I want to make it like a series. So Bedroom Bars 1, Bedroom Bars 2, Bedroom Bars 3, and you can watch it online, and you can download the tracks on streaming services on my website. So I want to make it kind of like online series of tracks, you know what I mean? So that was my goal for it at the time, and just try and make my best songs I could, and that was really it, man. I was making an online series that was different and unique and kind of showed, you know, my talent in a way. So that was it, man, and it done pretty well. Like one of the songs off there called I Don't Want to Be Famous is my biggest song to date. It's got like 60,000 streams on Spotify, which is pretty good for me. Independent. I shot it in this room here, no money, small budget, marketing myself, promoting myself, advertising it myself, all through online for YouTube. And you know, it's got like 40,000 views on YouTube. It's actually making royalties online. So I haven't touched the money though. You know what I'm saying? A lot of clearance and stuff in there. You know what I'm saying? But it showed me the power of this internet world we're going into. Now I made that in 2016, and it just Bedroom Bar showed me. At the time, I never had a real fan base, but that was the first time I started making original music, making my own videos, making my own tracks, recording myself, and just it's more like a learning process. Cause I'm still learning what I'm doing. I'm still like, even you interviewing me right now, I can't believe it. I just feel like, wow, it means I'm actually getting somewhere. Cause like, I still feel like I'm an infant in this game in terms of being an artist. So the main Bedroom Bar was the start of me getting to where I am now with my new project one, which I'm making now, which is called Freestyle Flows. And I just want to make amazing stuff for people to enjoy around the world. I want to show people that you can be different, you can be unique, you can be yourself, and but you got to provide quality all the time. Like I feel with a lot of artists is like they start off really good and then they just go down. Like 50 Cent's first album was great, and then when they get in this industry, because they're signed to that label, the label then takes control and they start making the artists do things they don't want to do, and then the quality of the product of the art goes down. And so I didn't want to be like that. I want to make sure that everything I'm making gets better and better and better and better. I think that's what your job is. Your job as an artist, that's your job. Your job is to keep getting better and better, so that the listener just can't believe you're this good. That's my job. If I'm not doing that, then I shouldn't be on that microphone. You know what I mean? So Bedroom Bros was the start of me trying to get to that place. I'm not there yet, but Bedroom Bros was the start of me trying to get there.
Well, and it's such a different game. When I started in the mid 90s, there was no internet, or I didn't have access to the little bit of internet there was, but we were going to a recording studio, we were pressing up tapes and CDs, we were physically going out to sell them. Once this next generation came up, you guys have so many more options, and I love that. I mean, it would have been great to have that in 95, 96, but take advantage of all that, because people can, I had to find a recording studio, and then you're paying for that and you're paying for this. So that's great that this now exists for artists, although kind of you touched on it before too, it waters down, because now every street has a rapper. People wake up in the morning and they're like, I'm going to become a rapper, and it'll be available to millions of people that night.
And you know what?
It's crazy.
But I started just like you, because I started selling. I started out. I didn't have it when I started out. I didn't have a studio. I didn't have any money. I didn't have any resources. All we had is my friend had a home studio, like through FL Studio, crack file, you know what I mean? But we didn't have no money, you know what I mean? But I used to go to a studio and pay hourly, you know what I mean? But I started out selling mixtape just like you. I made my first mixtape. I think I was 17, 18, my first mixtape I did. I funded it myself. I was working as a football coach, and I was using that money for football, my coaching. I saved it up, paid £100 to get it recorded, the mixed and mastered, and then I actually I got the CD, I burnt the CD. I think I got 100 CDs. I burnt them myself. I printed it on the CD myself. I made the cover myself in college. I did it all. I made a whole CD. I manufactured and produced a whole CD myself. You know what I mean? And I went out of my school and I sold them on the street for £3 or $3 to every single person. So I started out the old way, the grassroots way, of hand to hand. You know what I mean? That's how I started out. So even though the internet was there, but it was not mature. It was just early days. Sure. It was just like, YouTube had just come out, you know what I mean? And so it was still about TV. It was still about radio. It was still it was still the 1996 system in 2006, 2008, 2000, and in 2009, it was still like that. Right. It was only around about 2018 where this internet things come like now, like, but it was still the 99. It was still radio. It was still television. I sold my mixtapes hand to hand at my house, go to school in my bag and sell it. But that taught me entrepreneurship. You know what I mean? Absolutely. I went Blockbuster. I made £50, which is $50. I'm a teenager. Went Blockbuster. I bought my computer games and paying my games. I buy my own computer games myself. You know what I mean? From selling mixtapes. So I look back now. that's entrepreneurship. I didn't know that entrepreneurship.
Right.
I thought that's hip hop. To me, that's just what you do as a rapper. I learned business and entrepreneurship from hip hop. I didn't learn it from business school. I learned it from rappers. I learned it from selling. You see, I thought that's what you do. You know, you make your own poster, you put up. We didn't know that was like business or anything like that. We just thought that's what you do when you rap.
Talk about do-it-yourself entertainment, how that came together. I was checking out the website. I mean, you offer classes, all sorts of stuff. Tell us all about that.
Oh, thank you so much, man. I appreciate your research. It's beautiful, man. So I started doing self entertainment when I was 19, and basically because I was on an independent label when I was 16. So I never wanted to be from the age of 15. There's a guy called Sway, and he inspired me to be independent because I never wanted to be on a record label because I didn't want someone to control the way I rapped and stuff like that. Never made sense to me. I was like, well, why would someone tell me how to rap? I didn't even know about signing your way of rights. All I knew back then was the record label tells you what to do. I was 15. I was like, I don't want someone telling me what to do. So I want to be So I learned about you could be an independent artist, but you can put your own songs. So I said, I want to do that. I'll make my own CDs. And I just started making my own CDs. And I was on this independent label at the time when I was 16. And it was just like this. He had a home studio, but he couldn't provide me anything that I couldn't. He wasn't doing anything really for me, that I really couldn't do myself. And that's when it hit me. I just thought, do it yourself. Why don't I just do it myself? And then it just felt so good when I said that. And then I said, that's the name, do it yourself. So I left that label and started do it yourself when I was 19 years old. Made the little logo when I was 19, and then I made the little trademark with the soundbite when I was 19. And I just started. I just wanted to do it myself. I wanted to have my own thing, like my own like business, my own brand, my own like kind of thing at a young age. But nobody took me seriously because I'm like 19. It's 2001, 2010. No one cared back then. You know what I mean? It was just like, if you're not on the TV, no one cares about you, bro. You know what I mean? So that's how it started, man. I started doing it myself. I've always been doing it myself. Like my first music video, I directed it. I wrote this treatment. I co-directed it. I co-edited it myself. So I was always doing it myself. I didn't know that I was doing it myself. And that's how Do It Yourself started, man. It's just, and now it's gone into a brand. And now, it's turned to a real good brand now. Now I'm making my own flagship store online. So that website's going to turn to a flagship store, so I can distribute my own records directly myself to my real supporters. I'm making a university on there where I'm teaching independent artists and small businesses how to build their own brand, how to learn about the music industry, about the contract, the legal side, distribution, just help them solve their problems. Because there's no consultancy in hip hop. I want to start a consultancy firm and educational and like a university. The missing point in hip hop is education. That's the problem. Anyone can make a record. Anyone can get funding for a record, but people don't know what to do. So that's why they go to a record label, or that's why they get a manager, because they're supposed to be the professionals, the guys that are gonna, coach you through it. But it's not the case. You don't need a record label. They're not smarter than you. They don't know anything. Record labels are, in this new world, they're kind of irrelevant because people don't go into a record store. What they do actually, because vinyl is actually growing. Vinyl sales are actually growing.
Yeah.
They're growing. So people do go to record stores. So they do still do that. But majority of music is like 90% of music consumption and money being spent is on streaming. So if you're an independent artist or an independent podcaster like yourself, you can just go, you can build your own business directly yourself, go directly, just like Amazon does, just like these big tech companies doing. You can do that for yourself. And that's never happened before for artists. This is the first time where we can have like a really good business around our art. And I feel like if you look at artists, my whole thing with Do It Yourself Entertainment, I just saw the way how artists have been treated for hundreds of years by society, but we're not respected by society. If you go back to Mozart, Mozart's one of the most compelling players I've ever had in my life, but he didn't have no money. Van Gogh probably didn't have no money either. Tupac didn't have no money. All these great artists that I look up to and I rate so much have no money. Every time I see an artist, they're in the street busking, getting change thrown in a cup. That's all. You know what I mean? There's no like manual of how to build a business around my art. And thanks to God, I'm learning how to do that for myself. So what I'm doing now is just sharing that, because I went to university. I studied the music industry. I got a music and entertainment management degree. I got a degree in the music business. So I learned it from a theory standpoint. And then I went out and worked in the business. I worked for a company called PPL, which is like have you heard of BMI and ASCAP in America?
Yes, yeah, ASCAP. Yeah.
Yeah, so basically it's a UK version of that.
Okay.
So I worked in the business in the licensing side. So I saw how it works from a copyright standpoint, from a legal standpoint. I saw this is where the money gets made. So you know what I mean? That's why record labels have so much money, because they own the rights of the art. So your podcast is property. So right now, this podcast you're making, you own the properties to that. So if this podcast gets big, you know what I mean? They can't just take it from you. You know what I mean? Like look at Joe Rogan, for example. He got paid $100 million for his podcast. Right? If your podcast gets big, you could do the same thing. You can license it out because your property. Same with music. You know, and a lot of artists don't understand the value of their art, because the music industry will never tell you that, because that's how they make their billions, of your hard work, of your ideas, of your labor, of your art. So all I do, I told the world about it. You know what I mean? On the internet, I just say, look, don't sign to labels, because without you, they make zero. But they treat you like a dog because they know you don't know nothing. They know you're poor. They know you don't have no knowledge on this business. So what I do, I tell everyone for free what goes on in the music industry and give them knowledge for free. That's my job as an artist. My job is to tell the world what goes on, because I'm an artist. Why would I be an artist? I don't do it for money. I do it because I want to be amazing on what I do, but also it's what you're saying as an artist. I think if you use your talent for good, it tends to have it. That's what art's for. You're supposed to use it to benefit society in a good way. That's why people remember Tupac. Tupac is remembered for changes. You know what I mean? We love Pop for Dear Mama. You know what I mean? Those kind of songs. All that hit 'em up stuff that he did is pretty irrelevant. You know what I mean? Because what it didn't end good. Look how it ended for Tupac. Doing hit 'em up and all that foolishness. It ain't good for Tupac that way. But we love Pop because of Dear Mama. We love Tupac because Me Against the World. That's why we love Tupac. You know what I'm saying? That's why he's remembered, because he made you know, Keep Your Head Up. Come on, you know what I mean? That's why we love Tupac so much, because he made those positive songs. That's why he's remembered so much. And obviously the guy was amazing, talented, but with those positive songs that he made. But human beings, you know, we love stuff that hits us in a certain way and makes us feel better. You know what I mean? You know, that's how people buy. That's why, you know, rich people want the finest things in life, because they, you know, like a Tesla's worth. You could buy a Tesla for $60,000. You know what I'm saying? Or you could buy, you know what I mean? I don't know, a Volkswagen for some, I don't know, $10,000. But if you got loads of money, you want to feel good. You know what I mean? So you go and buy the $60,000 car because it makes you feel good. But both cars do the same thing. But the car that's more expensive makes you feel good. You know what I mean? So I feel like with hip hop, I know I'm going to topic, but I just feel like with hip hop and stuff, you just got to be positive, man. And you got to be nice. If you're positive and you're nice, people will remember you. But if you spread negativity, they're going to forget about you. That's why I think Biggie's not as remembered as Tupac. Because Biggie didn't make that many positive songs that touched the world. Where Tupac, the Pope had Tupac in his top 10 favorite songs. Because of changes.
That's crazy.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because of it's because the song speaks to you. It's a positive song. Like we're human beings, man. We want to feel good all the time. I think art is one of the most amazing. Like Michael Jackson, for example, all he did was make these positive songs, and everyone still to this day people talk about this guy. All you hear about Tupac and Michael Jackson. These guys aren't alive no more, but it's like they're still here. Because of the impact of their art. And that's what I'm trying to do, just make amazing songs that helps humans in a better way. And I feel by giving good information out, not just through my art, my music, my media, you know what I mean, podcasting, I feel it's our job to, like what you're doing right now with this podcast, you know what I mean? It's our job to spread positive things in the world, you know what I mean? Because humans want this, what we're doing right now, you know?
Well, now I'm going to transition to the basic hip hop questions. This is kind of what my podcast has become known for. Let's say you're making an album and you have an endless budget and you can get any 3 MCs to do a song with. Who are the 3 MCs that you're going to do a song with?
Oh, Park.
He's dead though.
50. Oh, sorry. Okay, loud. Sorry, damn, sorry. Forgot. I heard he's in Cuba.
Yeah, you're right. He might not be. Maybe you can get him, yeah.
Oh, that's true. Nah, I would say right now, so I would say Pete Prodigy, but he's gone as well. I think Pete from Mobb Deep is one of the best rappers ever. I know not lie, but he's one of the best rappers I've ever heard, because he sounds like a motion picture when he rhymes. If you hear Pete's music, he sounds like a movie. Like he just sounds like a movie when you hear it. So I would say alive though. I would say it's very tough, man, because I haven't released the rap number. I would say Mace, Snoop Dogg. I'll get a song with Snoop. I'll do a little chorus for Snoop. Probably 50 Cent. You know what I mean? Now, I don't know about 50. Back in the day, 50 ain't really 50 don't try no more, so not 50. Back in the day, we 50, but now 50 don't care about music no more. He just making these movies now. I would say probably Jay-Z. I like to work with Jay-Z just because I want to be in the studio with Jay-Z. I just want to be in the studio with Jay-Z. I want to see how Jay-Z works in the studio.
So we're gonna do some. I call it this or that. I'm gonna give you two options, and you got to pick the best option in your opinion.
The choice is yours. You can get with this, or you can get with that. You can get with this, or you can get with that.
So we're gonna do albums.
Mm-hmm.
I got Tupac's Strictly 4 album or Biggie's Ready to Die.
Oh, Biggie Ready to Die without question.
Well, then we'll go Tupac's All Eyes on Me or Biggie's Life After Death.
Okay, that's a tough one. Now, the only reason I will say Biggie, because Tupac didn't get enough time to make the album. The album was rushed. That's why I never really liked All Eyes on Me. Because Tupac, think about Tupac, he's so different between, for my perception of Tupac. This is my perception. This is not fact. If you're in the comment section, please don't start dissing me and stuff. This is my perception, my subjective opinion on music, how I see it. You know what I mean? My opinion. But with Tupac, I just feel like with All Eyes, Tupac was so talented that he can go in the studio in 5 days and every single song will be a banger. That's very hard to do that. That's very, very hard to do that. Yeah, he was so blessed with it. And I think because he never got enough time to make that album, where Biggie had 2 years to make his album, you have a difference. Michael Jackson took 4 years to make an album. When I make a project, I take 2 years to make it. You know what I mean? 1 year minimum. Every time I made a project that was less than 1 year, it was whack. So I learned I have to take about a year, 2 years to make something. I want to make timeless project that lasts forever. If you want to do that, you got to put at least a year, 2 years into that. I think with Biggie, he had 2 years to make the album, where Pac had like what, a month to make it or some shit, like 3 months to make it. It's something ridiculous.
Yeah, I don't
like
even think
you know
that long. Yeah, he just pounded it out. He got out of jail and just started recording.
He got signed late 95, September 95, he signed the contract. By December 95, he's already shooting videos, California Love video. And then by the time it was February 96, the album was out. So he had like 3-4 months to make an album, shoot videos, record a double disc tape. It's not enough time to make something, but he still made but he still did it. The guy, because that's Tupac. That's why he's blessed by the creator, man. He had an amazing gift. But I just feel like Biggie had more time to, and Biggie heard All Eyes on Me. Come on, Biggie made a double disc mixtape. You know where he got the idea from? Got it from Pac. He saw what Pac did. He saw what Dre was doing. That's what they were doing. But Biggie took that. He had a lot more time to make it, and he made, to my opinion, a better album, because it's just Biggie's album was next level, man. Life After Death, bro. Biggie was something else. He's only 24 years old. Tupac was all 24, 25. They're babies, man.
I know,
but those two guys are crazy, but so talented, man. So I think if Tupac, if you put Pac in the studio for 1 year, he would have made something that would have been next level. That would be way better than All Eyes on Me. He would have made something that was, bro. Tupac was too talented, man. That man was amazing, man. Rest in peace, Tupac Shakur. The guy was amazing.
And Biggie,
and Biggie, both of them, man. So young, but.
Let's do Public Enemy, Nation of Millions to Hold Us Back, or Fear of a Black Planet. Which one you picking?
I'm gonna be real. Like I'm not the biggest Public Enemy fan, so I don't really know a lot of their albums, stuff like that. All the only track I know Public Enemy, I just know them as individuals. Chuck D. I watched a lot of his interviews. I'm a fan of Chuck D, the man himself. Flavor Flav, but there's one track we used to love me and my cousin. Well, don't believe the hype. I love that track. Yeah. I love that track. I love that track. I just like what they were on at the time. You know what I mean? But a lot of their music, I just don't. It's not because of them. It's just the production I wasn't really into. I'm very production driven, so I can't really say what album I like. But I just like them and what they stood for. You know what I mean? I did my lot of history in them. You know what I mean? So I can't really say what album. Cause no, I ain't heard none of the albums. If I'm honest, you know what I mean? Keep it 1,000, me, bro. You know?
No doubt.
But shout out Chuck D. I want to meet him too.
Yeah. I'm a huge Public Enemy fan, but so I'm gonna do my last round where I just say an artist's name and tell me the first thing that comes to your head.
Definitely, man.
Hey, we've talked about him multiple times. 50 Cent.
Intelligent.
Master P.
Businessman.
Yeah, he made a lot of money in the late 90s.
Yeah, definitely. Businessman.
The OG Ice-T.
I would say pioneer of gangster rap.
Absolutely is, yeah. MF Doom.
Underrated, but rated at the same time.
Lady Sovereign.
Yeah, that's a good question, man. I don't even know about her too much, man, but I would say again, she came. I would say missed opportunity, and not because of her, because she came in a time where she was at the first sacrificial lamb of being the first ever UK rapper ever to go to America. So she had no previous person to look to, or there was no scene for her. You know what I mean? So she came in a time, but she was just too early. She was just too early, man. You know, too early. But yeah, man, she did her thing, though, man. She did her thing, man.
I actually had that first album of hers, and there was a few songs on there that I really liked. But similar to what you said before, I think the accent does maybe hurt an American audience, because even in that, when she was talking, there's certain, my American ear has to really pay attention, to catch what she's saying. She had a really thick accent. Yeah.
Thick accent, and it's just a lot of slang where it's just cultural barriers, and and I think that's what kind of separated us back in the day. I think now people, not because the internet, we're all connected right now. Like it's changing, but yeah, she was just 2004. That was like 2004, so that was just too early. Americans were not understanding nothing back then. Back then, it was cable and television and radio, so that's all we knew, So we're not gonna, I knew she was making waves, but I just knew America was never gonna accept her. One, she was a white female. One, she's a female. Two, she was white, and three, she was English. She had all that against her, and in the industry, but that didn't exist. So I rate her, man, for trying. Even Drake, like people give Drake a hard time, but people forget Drake was Canadian, and he's like half Jewish, and he's not gangster, and he still somehow made it to the top of the industry. But no one thought Drake would make it. I'm not a Drake fan. I'm just saying, like, people don't understand that Drake and Lady Sovereign Drake, people that weren't from America, that didn't fit the stereotypical perception of what rappers should be in the early 2000s, mid 2000s, were not going to make it. But as you saw, because of the internet, Drake came at the right time. He came at the internet time where he could, where it was shifting. But Sovereign, she came at a time where there was no internet. It was still television, radio, and if you weren't gangster, you weren't having, you ain't getting heard. End of,
How about Eminem?
You know what? When I was younger, I never liked Eminem. When I was younger, I always thought Eminem was just mad. Like, I never took him. Because every time I see Eminem, remember, all I would see was, I'm Slim Shady, yes, I'm the Slim Shady, yes, all that Slim Shady. That's all I had to see on TV every single day. I was like a little kid. I never liked that song because he's like, every time I see him, he was like naked and stuff. He was like dissing like NSYNC and pop stars. And to me, that wasn't hip hop. To me, that was some like joke thing. Like, but everybody in my area was saying, actually, he's the best rapper ever. I'm like, how? Because I'm a Tupac rider at this time. No one's better than Tupac to me. Like, nobody's better. At this time, no one's better than Tupac to me. They said he's better than Tupac. I'm like, Eminem better than Tupac. How is Eminem better than Tupac? But at that time, all I heard was the mainstream stuff. Was on TV, Slim Shady. So I never re-rated him, and like he's always been naked in his videos, and he dressed up as a woman and stuff, and like, so like I never took Eminem seriously. You know what I'm saying? I thought he was like a pop star. I didn't know Eminem was a rapper. I thought he was a pop star. But then as I got older, I started hearing like his actual him on like when he got with 50 Cent, that was the first time I started liking Eminem. When I heard Patiently Waiting, the man was phenomenal. Phenomenal. Eminem on that track is phenomenal. That was the first time I was like, that's Eminem. That's when I became Eminem. That's why I respected Eminem. You can always tell Eminem is just an artist. Like, he don't want to be famous. I don't think Eminem ever wanted to be famous. I think Eminem struggled with the fame, if I'm honest. Because Eminem's just like a normal cat, man. He just wants to be a great MC. So, and I can really hear that in his interviews, So I got respect for Eminem. A lot of respect for Eminem as an artist, yeah.
How about The Roots?
What they do. I love that. That's one of my favorite songs and videos, man. Yeah. I even rammed on their beat, man. 2000. I got a track called Big Ol' LDN. It's on the What They Do beat, man. I love The Roots, man. What They Do is one of the best hip hop tracks ever made. One of the best videos ever made. You know what I mean? Because it shows the reality of the rap game. You know what I mean? Right. Shows the reality of it. You know what I mean? So I always love that, man. The way he's spitting the bit. It's just so creative. And I think that's what I miss about hip hop. Just that stuff like that, like where you sit down there, you just zone out because the creativity is so compelling and it's just speaking to you and you're learning from it and it's positive. You're learning that the rap game. Like, I'm a little child and I'm watching now thinking, oh, so the rap game is fake. I'm learning from this video. You know what I'm saying? And I like, you know what I mean? They're renting the car, they're renting the houses, they're renting the women. You know what I mean? As a child, you think it's all real as a child. I'm from the UK watching. I'm thinking, whoa, I might be a rapper, man. Then you learn it's not real. It's all rented. It's all rented. Yeah. So. Yeah, man. What The Roots are amazing, man. I love definitely. Yeah, I like The Roots, man.
Lastly, I got Naughty by Nature.
Hip hop parade. Oh baby, yeah, you know me. Oh baby. I think that, to be honest, man, I just feel like they're kind of. I feel like they were good for hip hop at the time because they made a different type of hip hop at the time, like Stretch. They make classic. If you make a classic song, you're great. So they're great. They're great. I just feel like maybe they're unappreciated then. Maybe.
That could be.
You know what I mean? Because they are great. Because I think even if you make one classic song, you're great. It's hard to make a classic
Hell
song.
yeah.
I've never made a classic song in my life. You know what I'm saying? So I can't really critique them. They have.
So plug your pluggables. Where can people get at you? Give them your social media tags. Where can they all find you?
Oh yeah, man. So you can find me on Instagram. I've got a page on there. I've got like if you're into like hip hop, you want to know about the economics, the economics behind hip hop, and the business and the entrepreneurship side around hip hop. Go on my Instagram page. I post videos every single day about the business of rap. You can learn on there. The main thing about the page is so you can learn, and I teach people basically how the business works, what's going on behind the scenes, and how they can build their own businesses. Find me on Instagram. And also you can find me on my retail store, on my flagship store, which is DIYENT.com, which I'm building right now. On there, I'm gonna have my own like streaming service on there, my own music store on there, my own podcast store on there. It's gonna be on there as well, and my own retail store for my clothing line on there as well. So that's all. Everything will be free on there. Even I'm even doing free merch soon as well. So all the music's free, all the podcasts are free, all the video content will be free. And you go in there and get directly from me there. So on my retail store. That's it, man. Just DIYENT.com, which is my retail store, and Instagram and YouTube as well. You can find me there. Just put Ashley I or put DIYENT or put Ashley I Music. That's Ashley I Music, DIYENT. Put that in any search engine and you'll find me, man. And yeah, just DM me, hit me on WhatsApp. My number's on my Instagram. You go actually you go if you go on my website. You press a button and my phone number will be automatically added to your phone straight away. So you can hit me directly on my website as well. So I'm trying to do things differently right now. I'm trying to change the way people experience what an artist could be in a new world. Because I really feel like I'm an artist in today's world, and I don't know what that is because it doesn't exist yet. So I feel I'm doing something that doesn't exist, but I'm on the way of doing it. You know. So when I see self-driving cars and stuff like that, I'm thinking, okay, cool. But who's doing that in hip hop? Like who's changing the way? Like I want to change the whole thing. I want to be an independent artist that's just unique and different. That has his own store. That's doing things so different. So I'm doing things better than what's out there. Like I want to make retail better for music fans. I want to make it, you know, because if you look at the music business and the retail experience of getting a record, it's go on a bus or go in your car, drive to a record store and hope the album's there. And I want to make that whole process better. So that's why I'm building my own store. So I'm in the process of doing that, man, trying to change the game, just trying to do things unique. We use this technology to make hip hop, make things better for hip hop fans. Because I feel like we're very underserved. You know, we don't have a lot. You know, we don't have a lot of media outlets. I think that's what you're doing here is beautiful, man. You know what I mean? You're creating a media outlet for someone like me. Because, you know, I can't be on mainstream TV. I've never been on mainstream TV, probably never will. You know what I mean? Because I can't control my brain. I always speak my mind. You know what I mean? So I will never make it in the mainstream world. So people like you help me, you know what I mean, get my voice out there. And I'm very honored to be here today because I still can't believe what you want to interview me, man. It's like, I don't like I doubt myself. It's just like, I'm still learning. I feel like I'm an infant in this game. And I feel like I'm still learning. So the fact that you're interviewing me, it does show me that I'm doing something. For you to have me on here and have Spice One on here, you know, just on 5 hours ago, Spice One in here.
Yeah.
It's mind blowing, man, to even be on here. So I'm saying thank you so much for what you're doing. It's appreciated, man. A lot by me, man. I really thank you because it's amazing, man.
I've heard thousands of MCs in my day, and I'm only reaching out to people who I think are talented. So I honestly think you got something. Keep doing what you're doing. I'm loving what you're doing. You can tell that you have a real respect and love for the culture as a whole, not just so many people just want to be a rapper because it's the cool thing to do. So I gravitate towards the people who have love for the culture and are doing it, in my opinion, for the right reasons.
Hey, man, I appreciate you, man. Keep doing what you're doing. We need this in rap. I'm gonna let you go. We need what you're doing because, man, what you're doing is great. You're very professional. You know, like you said, I listened on Spotify, but then I watched the videos and I'm just like, we need this, man. We need more media outlets like yourself that really give people like me, you know, an opportunity, like unsigned artists that mean opportunity around the world. Like it's very rare you get that, and you got guys like Spice One on there who establishing the game, you know what I mean? So we keep doing what you're doing, man, you know what I mean? It's very appreciated. I'm subscribing, I'm watching everything you're doing, and I'm here to support you anyway, man. Anytime you need any help with promotion, like my page is growing on Instagram, need anything, just shout me, man. I can, you know what I mean? See where we can help, try and get your stuff out there as well, man. You know what I'm saying?
All right, I appreciate it.
So a lot, brother, man.
All right, I'm gonna let you go. It was an honor. Peace.
Peace up. Peace.
Sometimes I feel I'm going crazy, but if I don't use my brain, then I really won't make it. Sometimes I'm feeling kinda lazy, but what I know I gotta do with myself, cause I'll be grinding in the rain, sun, snow. Cause I'll be grinding in the rain, sun, snow. But they don't let me know. When I was young, man, they said I was stupid, cause I wasn't an A-star student. When I was young, man, they said I was foolish. His way of thinking, society approved it. I told all my friends I was gonna do this, but they talked behind my back, call them Judas. We're living in the world where everybody's ruthless, cause no one really won't believe in your dreams, and they didn't feel me though. And it was hurting inside, I don't know where to go, cause all I had was my drive, I used to mumble, bro. When I was saying these lines, I kept the humble though, and I ain't saying no lies. They say I'm OTT, yeah, you know me, but I'm misunderstood like ODB. And what's it? Cause all I had was my plan. I pray hard, I hope you guys understand, but they don't hear me though. Sometimes I feel I'm going crazy, but if I don't use my brain, then I really won't make it. Sometimes I'm feeling kinda lazy, but what I know I gotta do with myself, cause I'll be grinding in the rain, sun, snow. Cause I'll be grinding in the rain, sun, snow. But they don't let me know. Crazy, crazy. Trying to make it for my family now. I realize the time is now. Trying to make it for my family tree. I'm trying to make my mother proud. Trying to make it for my family tree and pray to the God above. Cause I really gotta chase my dreams, cause nobody showing me love. Yo, cause they didn't feel me though, and it was hurting inside, I don't know where to go. But all I had was my drive, I used to mumble, bro. When I was saying these lines, I kept the humble though. I'm never living with pride to say I'm OTT. Yeah, you know me, but I'm a misunderstood like ODB, and we'll see. Yeah. Cause all I had was my plan. I pray hard, I hope you guys understand, but they don't hear me though. Sometimes I feel I'm going crazy, but if I don't use my brain, then I really won't make it. Sometimes I'm feeling kinda lazy, but what I know I gotta do with myself, cause I'll be grinding in the rain, sun, snow. Cause I'll be grinding in the rain, sun, snow. They don't let me know. Sometimes I feel I'm going crazy, but if I don't use my brain, then I really won't make it. Sometimes I'm feeling kinda lazy, but what I know I gotta do with myself, cause I'll be grinding in the rain, sun, snow. Cause I'll be grinding in the rain, sun, snow. But they don't let me know. Sometimes I think I'm going crazy, crazy. Sometimes I think I'm going crazy, crazy.